Welcome to Discover Resilience, the podcast, a series dedicated to deepening conversations around a critical shift, how organizations are breaking down silos to achieve true enterprise-wide resilience.
Join us as we sit down with customers, industry leaders, and Everbridge experts, exploring everything from the philosophical to the strategic and the tactical steps of what it truly means to build and maintain resilience. I'm Casey Daghai.
And I'm Shay Bond. We're your hosts, and with a combined 30 years of experience in the resilience space, we've seen firsthand what works
and what doesn't
when it comes to resilience, and we're excited to bring those conversations to you.
Over the weekend, I had a bunch of errands to run, as one does on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what Saturdays are for.
Yeah, apparently, not for relaxation. So had my whole list of places to go, things to do, and I kind of paused at one point and realized that I do things in a very particular way, and I'm curious if other people have these kind of specific quirks about day-to-day life or how they go about doing something. And maybe it's not as much quirks as it is like full systems of how they operate. And I'm curious if you have any particular quirks that maybe somebody has said, oh, that's very specific to you. That's an interesting one.
I don't know if this is necessarily a quirk, but I'm not shy about admitting that I do have an ADHD diagnosis, which is like, it has pro cons, right?
Yeah,
pro, I can sit down for 14 hours straight and hyper-focus on something. I learn things quickly. Like, I can crank out projects like nobody's business. But the con of that is, for me particularly, it manifests time blindness. Like, I have no concept of time whatsoever.
What time is it right now?
No, couldn't tell you. I know that I'm hungry, which means it's probably sometime around lunch.
Yeah.
But that's the only indicator that I have. And so I don't know during a span of time, like, has it been 15 minutes? Has it been 50 minutes? Especially if I'm hyper-focused on something.
Oh, sure.
No clue. Couldn't possibly say. So when you said systems, that's actually how I operate, is very much like building in structures. I use a lot of timers. I live by my calendar. And it's really funny because a lot of times, like, my favorite compliment is when people are like, wow, you're so organized. And it's like, my organization is 3 raccoons in a trench coat pretending to be organization.
Right. You're doing a good job masking that you're like
100%,
very organized.
Right. And it's just a lot of like systematic approaches of, building in these ways that kind of compensate for the fact that I have no clue how much time is passing at any given moment.
I just envision you're like in your office or getting ready and there's just like 7,000 ticking clocks around you. Just like
it's like that scene from Hook where
tick-tock, tick-tock.
Yeah, but what was your system that you noticed?
I'm a big eat the frog kind of person in that I like to front load all of the more annoying tasks throughout my day and then leave the least annoying at the end as like a reward. But that's how I think about it, is I'm like, okay, I've got these 4 places that I need to go to. One of them is returning a box of shoes that I haven't paid attention to in 7 months. That's probably past the return, right?
Course,
but I'm going to still try.
Yeah.
This is actually a thing that I have to go do at some point this week. But so I rank them. What is the most annoying to the least annoying? Even if the least annoying is like going to the grocery store for a trip that I really don't want to do, I'm like, you know what, Casey, go drop that package off, get that returned, and you're going to be rewarded with going to the grocery store and buying the same 10 things that you do every other day.
What a treat.
What a treat. What an outing. But yeah, I do that for really everything. Like if it's a task at work, I'm like, what's the thing that's going to be the thing that I really don't want to do? And I'll do that first to then be rewarded with some type of more maybe creative task that I do.
Yeah.
That's more systematically, but I'm sure that if you ask others that are close to me, I probably have some pretty weird quirks as well.
Yeah.
One that's more a little bit mundane, but that I've shared with people and they're like, that is insane for you to do. I go grocery shopping, like a big one, right, once a week, like most people do. But I cannot go grocery shopping until I have cleaned out my fridge. I do this probably multiple times a week, but always once a week, where I will look through, check expiration dates, take out that like gross container of something that's been sitting in there. But I have shared this story with multiple people and they're like, that's too often for you to be cleaning out your fridge. I have stuff that's been in there for weeks.
I can see how appalled you are by the
Friends,
concept of something
what
being
do
in
you
there for
mean?
weeks.
What do you mean? What do you mean weeks? I can't do it. I have to do that first. I'm like, cannot go even think about bringing food back into this house until I have emptied the entire fridge out.
Yeah.
Just fully. Don't ask about my freezer though. That's a different story.
That's a different, yeah. You don't, that's none of your business.
Don't
What's
even,
in your freezer?
Don't worry about it. As I used to tell my parents growing up, they asked me a question. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's none of your
That
concern.
was always a fun conversation to have with them. But
it sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm curious if other people have these systems of how they operate their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's not unique to us.
No, I'm sure. I mean, I know a lot of people very much are like married to the calendar.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm always curious. Like, I ask everybody what their task organization system is, because I'm always trying out new task systems. I'm like, how do you organize your tasks? You know, is it a smart sheet? Is it a list in Slack? Is it like, what do you do? Because I'm forever chasing the right way to get tasks done.
But don't you hate asking that question for somebody that has some ADHD, and I feel like I have some qualities and tendencies like that, but I'll ask those types of questions to certain people and they're like, I don't have to think about it. I just do the things.
Oh, that's infuriating. Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah. Don't talk to us if that's how you operate. I don't want to hear about how naturally great you are at executing tasks.
No.
It's a full spreadsheet for me.
If your task execution works perfectly fine, then please don't comment.
We can't be friends.
We can't
Sorry.
be friends. But if you have an amazing system, please
let us
advise.
know. Do you have a hack, a life hack? I have.
Yeah.
I require 1,000 of them.
I've tried many, many things, and I think like the novelty of a new thing wears off after a while. So then I just have to try something new.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
always keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Well, all funny little quirks to get us through our day to day. But
humans are interesting.
Yep.
But
all right, let's get into the episode.
Let's do it. Today, we are thrilled to welcome Lisa Jones to the podcast. Lisa is a seasoned expert in the world of resilience. She currently serves as a business continuity regional manager at Control Risks, where for over 15 years, she's been guiding massive global organizations through every kind of uncertainty and change that you can imagine. She's not just doing the work, though. She's shaping the industry. She's on the editorial advisory board for the Disaster Recovery Journal and is a co-founder and managing partner of the highly respected resilience think tank. In fact, her dedication was recently recognized when she was named DRI International's Consultant of the Year for 2025, a huge accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lisa is also the host of her own podcast, The Leadership Story, where she has powerful, candid conversations with women leaders about how their own personal resilience has shaped their careers. She is super passionate about helping women see their complete life story as their greatest leadership asset. On a personal note, Lisa is a proud mother of 2 adult daughters. When she's not helping companies prepare for the unthinkable, she is a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Which is amazing, especially since she's married to a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Go Birds.
Yeah.
Proof that true resilience can exist even in the toughest situations. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I sound so fancy.
Yeah, you are. You're fancy.
Thanks for being here. So what we like to do to just kind of open up the podcast and keep things fun and casual, and have listeners get to know you a little bit better, we like to do one of these segments. It's a rapid fire resilience, so you kind of choose like this or that, and we just throw you a couple of questions. So easy breezy here.
All right.
First one is one of the most critical questions. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Oh,
correct.
yeah,
Correct.
sis. Okay. Beach vacation or mountain getaway?
beach.
Mhm.
Come
Also
on.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Palm trees, sun,
Yes.
sand, sweeter
Fruity drinks.
Fruity
Definitely.
drinks.
fruity
Yes.
drinks.
Give me a pina colada.
Frozen
Yeah.
pina
Frozen,
colada. Yeah, for
yes.
sure. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Salty. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's both for me, so
Okay.
that's it.
This is a really funny one. Eagles victory or Cowboys loss?
Oh my goodness. That is very
Sick.
hard
It's a
because they're
sick
both
Kind of
question.
one
diabolical.
and the same, but definitely a Cowboys loss. Come
Oh,
on.
Lisa. Wow.
Yes.
No, that is such a
Because
Philly
because
response.
there's so many losses, I can just bask
Yeah.
in the glory of it. So
That is like a
yes.
true Philly
Yeah.
Eagles thing to say.
Yes, it is.
For
Very
sure. I
much
love
so.
that
And
response.
my husband can't stand it, but we'll talk about it later.
I know. I'd love to understand more about this dynamic here. He must be a wonderful person.
He's a wonderful person, but all I say is that I'll get my wings in heaven because I'm loving thy neighbor
Yeah.
as thyself.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to love thy enemies, and
keep
I
them
am
close.
keep them
As you keep them
close.
as close as possible.
Yes, exactly. I married one, so hey.
That's so funny. Okay,
funny.
great response there. Plan everything or go with the flow?
Ooh, I'm a middle. Like I plan a little, and
Yeah.
then the rest I can go with the flow.
Yeah.
Because as you know, as planners, we can pivot. We have to
Mhm.
learn
Can
how to
pivot,
pivot.
yeah, for sure. Movie theater or movie on the couch?
Movie on the couch. People
Yeah.
talk too much in theaters these days.
Why do they talk? Why are
Because
they
they
talking?
forgot. They forgot what it was to be in a movie
Yeah.
theater. I think COVID just messed up everything for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, I don't love it. There's people taking
No.
pictures. It's I
Yes.
don't know what's
No
happening.
social skills. No.
No. I see the worst things in the movie
Yes.
theater.
I also think there's an element of like they've made movie theaters a little too comfortable, right? Like
Yes.
you're in a recliner, you bring your blanket. It's like you're not at home.
Yes.
You're
Not
still at a
only-
movie theater.
Not only a recliner, but the theater that I went to recently, it was my neighbors and then all of our girls.
Yeah.
There were couches.
Yes.
Oh,
In
I've
the-
not seen that.
Literal
Yes.
couches. So the girls are
Yes.
on the couches, they're in their slippers. I'm like, this is not home.
Now,
Like,
now, don't get me wrong. When I was growing up, like late teens, early, 20s, people did talk in the movie theaters like, "Don't do that, girl. Oh my gosh, what you doing?" So that,
Yeah.
those kind of
It was
things. Now, and
happening.
I don't mind
Yeah.
that, but when you're literally having conversations about what you're going to have for dinner in the middle of the movie,
Yeah.
please stop.
No.
Please stop.
Please stop,
Please.
because I'll say something.
Yes.
You don't want me to say something, but yeah, movie on the couch, like,
Yes.
in the cold basement.
Yes.
Literally
Love it.
perfect. Yeah. Early bird or night owl?
I'm a night owl.
Are you?
Such a night owl. My husband can't stand it.
Oh my
And I don't know
gosh.
what it is. It's
Mhm.
like I try to go to bed early, but
No,
doesn't happen.
it's part. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an early bird for sure.
you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I am not.
You're neither.
I am neither.
You're just
You're neither.
having trouble existing all the time.
Like,
Just
what time
struggling
is it?
to-
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. I'm definitely not a morning person, I'll tell you that. Not an early bird.
Me neither. And yet people want to talk to me, and I
That's
put up a good face.
I strongly advise against
Yeah,
I
having
do
me.
it's a mistake.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just go and try to nod. Just
Yeah.
nod.
That's a good one. That's like a polite response.
Yes, just nod. Yes.
Yeah. Call or text.
As much as I want to call, I'm a texter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, sometimes you want to make the call, just make it quick, but it's really not going to be quick.
It's never gonna be quick.
No, it's not going to be quick. So I text, and my kids, like, God forbid they call. Woof. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you
Right.
calling me?
Yeah. What is going on? What's happening?
Yes, what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's hurt?
Yes.
Which is more fun, being a podcast listener or a podcast host?
Oh my goodness, these are good questions.
Okay.
Definitely a host. I
Hmm.
mean, it can be nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
but it's the energy rush of it, and just
Yeah.
learning with
Yeah.
people and talking like this
Yeah.
is wonderful. So yes, I'll say podcast host.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We agree.
Until I
yeah.
have to edit, and then it's
And then
then
we
no.
just let Jim and
Yeah.
Co
Yeah.
edit.
You gotta
need
get
a
yourself a
gym.
gym.
Yeah.
I need
you
a
know what,
gym.
Jim?
You gotta
Okay,
get a
well-
gym.
Okay, last one. Reality TV or documentary?
Documentary.
Yeah.
I'm a documentary
I love a
buff.
good
I
documentary.
love a good documentary.
Yeah.
I
Because
do
the
too.
reality TV stuff, is a lot of it is hokey. Now,
Mhm.
unless it's like a Top Chef, then yes,
Sure.
give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Housewives, not so much.
Yeah.
I know. I do feel really left out of the Housewives.
Yes.
Like any of
I'm
those when
happy
people
to be
talk.
left out.
No,
Yes.
I
Keep me
am.
all the way out.
I know that if I started exposing myself to that, I would just be no one would be hearing from me for months at a time. I would be so far into these universes. So
Yes.
it's best I keep myself
Yes,
out
but
of
give
these
me a
things.
top chef. They broke the quiche. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm more of a like Great British Bake Off.
Yeah,
That
Oh
is my
yes,
comfort reality
definitely.
show.
I do like this says a lot about me, but I do like watching those shows and then kind of like judging them a little bit to be like, oh,
Yes.
cardamom,
Yes.
you know they don't like that. You know Paul Hollywood
You
doesn't
know,
like
right,
matcha.
right.
Mhm.
Why
Yeah,
are you making the
exactly. They're
risotto?
always picking matcha.
Why are they picking-
You know
Why?
He
hates
doesn't like
matcha.
matcha.
On Top Chef, it's the risotto.
Oh,
Everyone swears they can make a
Yeah.
risotto,
No.
and you're going to
Yeah.
go home.
They
Like,
can't.
oh,
You're gonna go home.
you're going
Can't pull it
home.
off.
Don't
Don't
try.
do it.
Why would you do that?
All right, Lisa. Well, I think we'll dive in because what I really want to talk with you about today is this idea that there is a little bit of a false sense of security in the way that we operate. And what I mean by that is that we have this dependency and we rely so heavily on cloud platforms, right? And we know that in organizations today, they are a very foundational part of the way that we operate. Things like AWS or Cloudflare are key things that we utilize every day, but they're not bulletproof. They can fail. So why is there this assumption that they're automatically safe? And why is this kind of false sense of security fundamentally flawed in your opinion?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the first thing is that the fact that we were able to get through COVID and allow people to work from home, we were very dependent on technology and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So we put a lot of trust in that. And when we talk about these big name enterprise grade
Mm-hmm.
organizations, we expect that they will provide us with the
Yeah.
things that we need to continue our work. But I think the part that we lost is that we are buying infrastructure, but we're not buying accountability. We're still accountable for what we have in clouds. We're still accountable of, testing and exercising.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we put too many eggs in one basket to think it's in the cloud, it's safe, it's okay. And we forgot that, when we had our own data centers, we were testing.
Yeah.
We were making sure things were backed up. We were doing those things. And what the cloud has given us is given us the flexibility, yes, to say, I don't need on-prem platforms and systems. I can put this somewhere else and they'll take care of it. But it's only as good as what your SLA says. And it's only as good, again, as the accountability. It's a shared responsibility, which I think we lost sight of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like this elephant in the room of a hidden single point of failure.
Right.
And so when you think about it like that, what is the difference in your mind from having this SLA versus achieving true redundancy?
Yes,
How do you think
yes.
about the comparison of the two?
Such a good question. So, I mean, what is a hidden single point of failure? And that's what it is. It's hidden. You don't see it in a diagram. You don't see it in a contract. You only see it in real life. So how do we? And it's something that you can't plan for. And when we think about an SLA and we think about redundancy, SLA is just a promise.
Yeah.
It's the promise. Here's the contract. This is what as a vendor, this is what we can provide for you. Redundancy is true capability. What is that we can do if in the event that something goes down? So our SLA is only as good as how it's written. I had a company that I work for. They had an SLA with AWS, and unfortunately, they didn't truly read it because what they thought they had an example. They had a system that needed to be up in 2 hours, so they thought, oh, it'll be up in 2 hours. But the SLA said that AWS could respond within 24. So they had
Gotcha.
24 hours. I'm like, did someone read that?
Yeah, sure.
2 and 24, very different.
24 is very different. Yes. So it's all about, truly understanding how your SLA is set up. How is your system set up? What is the architecture that's behind it? So that's first from a SLA perspective. But true redundancy means that if the system is down, I have the capability to do something else. If I have this capability, I don't care about the SLA. And I think those are we don't define it enough. to say that, true redundancy is if this platform is down, I have something else, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about redundancy, again, that 99% uptime, oh, it's up. Yes, it is up, but can you get to it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
If the system is down, can you get to those workarounds or those recovery books that are, oh, by the way, on AWS?
Right.
Right.
Is
Right.
there redundancy by switching from one region to the next,
Yeah.
within those cloud platforms?
Right.
Yeah.
So those are things we have to kind of understand in order to truly respond or have the right workarounds in place.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times folks will plan for everything else to go wrong and build their workarounds and their plans and procedures for everything else to go wrong. And then
Yes.
something, like a major cloud platform goes down and everybody's just like,
Wait a sec. Yeah.
Yeah.
how long do we have
Yeah.
until it comes back
Yes,
up?
and just think about when we talk about a cloud platform, it's not just a one thing. As professionals, we tend to think it's just this one thing one application is going to go
Yeah.
down. We're good. We
Right.
have a workaround. We can
Yeah.
use something else. The cloud systems that we currently have are dependent on each other, and they host so many
So
different
many
things.
things.
It's not just that little.
It's a complex
It's
impact.
complex.
Yeah.
So I think we need to definitely change our thinking and how we're planning. And it's not foolproof.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, we can't plan for everything, but we need to be cognizant of that this one thing could be, I'm not going to say catastrophic because,
Right.
we're not rocket science.
Yeah.
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 But we do need to be more open to adding more nuances and texture to what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Taking things at like really that bird's eye view to your point, right? All the integrations that exist between the architecture that the entire company is built on. I think there's, obviously a lot of assumptions that happen within organizations when they go and, implement these larger sets of infrastructure and architecture. And it's just like, well, it's a big brand, it's a big name, like we're going to rely on that. But so having that understanding of the SLAs and what that means, or, looking at your contracts. But let's talk a little bit about taking action, right? Like how can organizations best be prepared and really face this challenge head on versus just saying, we'll figure it out when we get to it. Or maybe they've tested a part of that or like one application that sits on that infrastructure or that platform, but maybe they haven't done a full comprehensive. So in your worlds, like in your kind of vocabulary, what is, or maybe it's one or multiple key differences between just like a test versus a full comprehensive exercise, which like in this conversation, we are talking about how do you best prepare for that, that large scale of an outage? What would you say are some different key differences?
Yeah, so first thing I would want to, understand about any organization is what is the thing that they're most not what keeps them up at night, but what is the thing that drives their organization? Is it truly financial? Is it truly reputational? And then use that as the driver for any test or exercise you may have.
Yeah.
So a test is more like let's think of a test as a fire alarm. A fire alarm, you want to test to make sure the fire alarm works.
Yeah.
The exercise is, can you evacuate the building? You're putting those two things together.
Right.
So if I look at an organization that says a hospital, our job is to make sure we can take care of our patients. What would happen if you could not? And truly think about that. What would be whether it's a cost, loss of life, whatever that may be, will that risk your reputation? And build on that and to truly say, okay, let's do an exercise based on this.
Yeah.
And have the right people around the table. How many times have we not had the right people, the decision makers? And again, it's not easy for every organization.
Yeah.
From a smaller organization, you can probably get the CEO or the CFO or the janitor,
Sure. Yeah.
who are very important at the table and truly understand that. And I know as you get into those more medium-sized companies and even larger organizations, is trying to get the right people around the table. And even if it's not the people that are making the decisions, the people that have the ear of the people that are making the decisions. If we're not positioned well in an organization, which I do see sometimes BC people are just not are positioned well in an organization. That's when it comes to being using our voices and making those connections with other people. So I think that's really the key. If you can figure out what is at the heart of that organization, what they truly care about, and try to get the people that make those decisions around that. I think that's helpful in when you're doing a test and getting them to do a full scale
Right.
exercise, because the buy-in, you need a lot of buy-in
Yeah.
for a full scale exercise.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you touch very closely on how you motivate people, right? How
Yes.
do we motivate people? We find what their driver is. So I love
Yes.
that piece of advice and having that be kind of part of the strategy.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about some differences between small organizations and large organizations, and you've worked with so many types of organizations. So for those listening, I think there's probably also an assumption that larger scale organizations have more budget for technology, more people, a larger ability to resource things like these departments, right? Resiliency and so on and so forth. But you also have kind of talked a little bit about how maybe those larger organizations can learn from some, maybe more agile approaches that smaller organizations are making. So are there any examples that you kind of think of when you think of, oh, like this larger organization could have learned something from this, smaller staffed resiliency group?
Yeah, what I find interesting is that actually the larger organizations tend to be the most, for lack of a better word, stagnant
Mm.
in planning, as well as they seem to be the most. I'm pushing back because I have a lot of other things to do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And the stick and carrot approach, the leading with a stick and carrot does not always work in those organizations either. So it's almost, you have to reframe the conversation of what resilience is. And resilience is really about, what can we do to protect this organization? Or particularly when you're talking to like a C-suite, sometimes a small or what we consider a large financial impact is a drop in the bucket. So take it from a sense of, okay, how many hours would it cost, or how much it would cost your C-suite
Yeah.
to respond to something?
Yeah.
Because they make a lot of money. So are we going to waste it on their time being in crisis management calls for 24 or 48
Yeah. Oh,
hours
that's an interesting
at
angle.
a time? And I mean, if you can get that far up, but let me get this. But
Right. Yeah.
that's a different way of approaching it. Also, when we talk about, in our planning, and focusing less on workarounds and things like that, we should be focusing on how we build resilience into that program. Are the people cross-trained? That's an easy one. That's an easy fix for a lot of things, and it addresses a lot of single points of failures from a people perspective and from an application perspective. If I'm always using Slack, is there something else I can use? Can I? Guess what? You're actually going to have to text people. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah. Right.
And actually just do it. I mean, if you can take a day and do just a minor fix,
Right.
it helps build that capability into
Right.
people to say, if I can do it with just this thing, let's try something else.
Yep.
But it has to be something that's doable and realistic for an organization to implement.
Yeah. Knowing that, these large cloud platforms and to have an outage or a failure can be so complex and so nuanced. If you were to offer, your most crucial piece of advice to a business resiliency professional, what would that singular piece of advice be?
Yes, the main part would be just to learn what it is. I mean, we don't have to be the experts in it, and we have people that we can know people, we have people, but at least get a high level view of what those things are. What is DNS? It took me forever to understand what that is. What is what is these regions that AWS always talks about? I had no clue. Even finding out that information is just a start.
Yeah.
There's enough AI, Google, what you need. You can find it anywhere. But if you can find that person within your organization that you can talk to about, truly help me understand when we talk about the cloud, what are those key applications that we have? Are they truly on the cloud? What are some things that outside of this, what would happen? Because again, there's complexities to this that even with the AWS outage, no one thought that that would be the thing that would ever happen, even within the way things are architectured or structured.
Sure. Yeah.
So how do we have those conversations and be intelligent about it, and then admit when you don't know? Because I think that's the other thing. Listen, I'll admit I don't know a lot of things, but I can find a person that will know more than me, and I try to understand from their perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best thing you can do is admit that you don't know that thing, but you're more than willing to go figure out who does and
Yes.
leverage those people. So,
Yes.
yeah, I
Right.
love that.
Absolutely. So when you're working with organizations and you are trying to get a sense of what their program looks like, where they might need some help, when you're talking to the most senior person, whether it's, the VP or the CEO of an organization, what is like the one question that you ask or could ask them to really get a good gauge of what their business continuity or business resiliency posture is like in that moment?
Yes. I think the key thing is just asking them, do they even understand their risk appetite?
Mm,
Let's start with that because
sure.
if they're very adverse, as my husband say, I'm very risk averse.
Yeah.
It just depends what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That already tells me either they will spend money, they will not spend money.
Sure. Yeah.
What is the budget? That'll tell me if they're going to spend money
Yeah.
or not spend money. So if we even start there, we can start with just that simple approach, and then we can say, okay, in understanding that here are some things I would suggest, or here are some gaps. If you're okay with that, I will sleep tonight just like you will. But
Right.
if not, then we really need to have a conversation about how we can mitigate some of these things.
Yeah. Do you kind of use that too when you're working with them to help kind of quantify what the cost of outages looks like? If know like, hey, they're actually not, super risk averse. They're actually pretty, open to wanting to,
Yeah.
put some funds and resources. But
Yeah, and I think sometimes they've never had that conversation or never had the
sure.
person to provide them that information to
Yeah.
actually think about that.
Mm.
We're so used to doing things ad hoc or on the fly, and we tend to forget.
Yeah.
And just having those conversations again, like I said, I was talking to a team, and they never thought of cross training a person.
Mhm.
It never came up. It
Yeah.
it wasn't a thing. I was like, "Did you ever think of, well, but you go on vacation all the time." You know,
Yeah.
if someone's going on vacation,
Someone's on vacation. Yeah.
someone's gonna be
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, here's a radical thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hear me
Here's what
out.
do you actually, we actually, I mean, and technically they really did have someone crushing. They just never thought of it in that way.
Sure.
And just spelling it out sometimes
Mhm.
is the easy job. It's
Yeah.
like my job is done. I can go home now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Amazing. Um, we know that resilience starts at the top, and leadership is very crucial to kind of fostering the culture of continuity. You recently started a podcast called The Leadership Story. Can you tell us a little bit about your intent and kind of what inspired you to start this podcast?
Oh my goodness. So, the main reason, well, yeah, the main reason I started a podcast, I was speaking with someone, a colleague, and we were talking about career, and she was asking me advice about career and strategy. And as I was talking to her and I finished, she said, "So when are you starting a podcast?" And I was like, What? I'm not starting a podcast. What do you mean?" And I was like, she was like, you should start a podcast." I was like, "I'm not doing it. I'm sorry.
You can't make me.
You can't make me know. You're not the boss of me." And little, but it stuck with me for like 3 weeks, for like a month. And then someone else had said something. So when you start a podcast, you should talk about, and I'm like, okay, God, you're funny.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start this podcast of just about how we as women leaders have gotten to where we are, because that's really the question. Even for me, I didn't take a moment to think of how far I've been and how do I got to this place,
Yeah.
because again, business continuity was not on my radar.
Yeah.
And to be, I appreciate it. I'm humble for people like you who think I'm smart, that I'm a
You
thought
are.
leader.
Yes.
It's truly humbling, and I appreciate that. And it's like, how can I share that with people and also find out from other women who have been in the same place as me, and regardless of what industry is, there is a thread of resilience that runs through everything. And how do we get to where we are? So, in working on this podcast, it's just been uplifting to hear the stories that so many things resonate just with me. It's filling me
Yeah.
more. I'm like, I feel a little cheat. I mean, I feel a little like this
Yeah.
is just for me, but but sharing it with others. And the one thing that I've my tagline is real women, real leadership, and real resilience, because that's what it is. We have done things that when you look back at it, like I actually did that. I actually got here. I'm not, it wasn't something that I planned. So I wanted to share that and hopefully have other women be inspired and say, yes, I can do that too.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's so great that you've created this platform to be able to have people share their stories. I think you like kind of, hit the nail on the head of, I think a lot of us don't actually take the time to step back and be like, where did I start actually? And here I am. I think for people that are ambitious, like you're always looking for kind of the next thing, but to actually take a step back and be like, oh, I wasn't actually here a year ago.
Particularly when you have done something that I know you have done and I also have done, which is to take a nonlinear journey.
Yeah.
I think that really resonated with me when I was listening to your initial episode where you mentioned like that you took a non-traditional path and those types of moments where you're like, oh yeah, I did do something here. I did get somewhere. So I love that you're doing that. We're really enjoying listening to the podcast. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
One thing that we like to do is kind of wrap up the episode with sharing a couple of tangible takeaways that people can implement and kind of take back with them. So a couple of things that I heard from you were, first and foremost, to really understand the landscape and understand the architectural landscape. So I think that is like kind of tangible takeaway number one. The other thing that I heard from you was really understand your contract. And so I think that's something that, I wouldn't have necessarily thought and that really jumped out at me was like, make sure that you understand your SLAs. And that's something that I think we usually kind of like leave up to procurement and legal. And we're like, that sounds great. And maybe you weigh in at some point, but as business resilience professionals, it sounds like you should really be intimately aware of some of those SLAs.
Right. How's that overlap with the RTOs that you're deriving from the BIA and what your dependency map looks like and how really, really building that into that visual.
Right. And then lastly, the thing that I want to call out that you mentioned was, when you think about test versus exercise, to do a full scale exercise, really, really getting to the heart of what is critical to you, not, what keeps you up at night, but what is your kind of, I almost wanted to say, you didn't use this word, but like core mission or purpose a little bit. And getting the right people in the room that support that thing or that mission or, and making sure that they're involved. So anything that I missed or anything that you would add to that?
And the only thing I would add to that is like, again, we don't have all the answers and it's okay, but we need to ensure that we're working with the right people to get those answers. And it may take some effort, but that's why we're there to take the effort. And it also, when you take the effort, not only do you expand your capabilities, you help the organization understand. So I think it's key. Don't be afraid to step out. I mean, listen, again, podcasting, come on. Don't be afraid to step out, but make sure you're, again, having the right people to work with. And when you can't get those right people to work with, have those people that know the right people to work with.
Just directing traffic sometimes.
For sure.
It really is.
Awesome.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Well, those were great tangible takeaways. And that's a wrap on this episode of Discover Resilience, the podcast. So thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. We love talking to you. Any opportunity we get to have a chat with you is great. So thanks for coming
have
here.
you on the podcast.
Hey, look, we'll be there.
We're in.
Can I bring Jim?
Of course.
Okay.
Always.
We got a
Thank
thumbs
you,
up.
Jim.
We don't we're not allowed to go anywhere without you. All right, y'all. We'll catch more episodes wherever you stream your podcasts. And for the full picture on how to stay ahead, head to everbridge.com. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, stay resilient.